Hello, my name is Omar Abasad. It is 1:55 p.m., October 29, 2020. So I did some videos about the the technocratic world that is being brought into play under cover of COVID-19. And I I would just like to read a little bit more on this book because um, the book just hits the nail on the head as far as I'm concerned. Um, Everything predicted in the book and written in detail seems to be coming true. So I thought I would do a little bit more readings on it or from. So this is a summarization. This is not from the book itself. This is a summarization, a critique, and an analysis of the book. So just a summary, this is a summary. So the use of technology to control society, this is the theme of the book. So Brave New World warns of the dangers of giving the state control over new and powerful technologies. One illustration of this theme is the rigid control of reproduction through technological and medical intervention, including the surgical removal of ovaries, the Bakanovsky process, and hypopedic conditioning, or hypnopedic conditioning. Another is the creation of complicated entertainment machines that generate both harmless leisure and the high levels of consumption and production that are the basis of the world's state stability. Soma is a third example of the kind of medical, biological, and psychological technologies that Brave New World criticizes most sharply. Okay, so my screen is taking its time to load here. It is important to recognize the distinction between science and technology. Whereas the state talks about progress in science, what it really means is the bettering of technology, not increased scientific exploration and experimentation. The state uses science as a means to build technology that can create a seamless, happy, superficial world through things such as the feelies. The state censors and limits science. However, since it sees the fundamental basis behind science, the search for truth, as threatening to the state's control, the state focus on happiness and stability means that it uses the result of scientific research in as much as they contribute to technologies of control, but does not support science itself. That takes a bit of thinking, so I'm going to read it again. The state uses science, I'm going to backtrack a little. The state uses science as a means to build technologies that can create seamless, happy, superficial world through things such as the feelies. The state censors and limits science. However, since it sees the fundamental basis behind science, the search for truth, as threatening to the state's control, the state's focus on happiness and stability means that it uses the result of scientific research in as much as they contribute to technologies of control, but does not support science itself. Very, very interesting. And this is where we're at right now, I think, in our society. We are being bamboozled. In my opinion, COVID-19 is one of the biggest bamboozles ever was run on anywhere in the world, and right now it's being run in the whole on the whole world. The consumer society. It is important to understand that Brave New World is not simply a warning about what could happen to society. And he wrote the book as a warning because he's an insider. He was part of the elite. And he probably heard the meetings and the conversations, and he saw the trend, and he saw the future. It is important to understand that Brave New World is not simply a warning about what could happen to society if things go wrong. It is also a satire of the society in which Huxley existed, and which still exists today. While the attitudes and behaviors of world state citizens at first appear bizarre, cruel, and scandalous, many clues point to the conclusion that the world state is simply an extreme but logically developed version of our society's economic values, in which individual happiness is defined as the ability to satisfy needs, and success as a society is equated with economic growth and prosperity. So let me read that again. While the attitudes and behaviors of world state citizens at first appear bizarre, cruel, or scandalous, many clues point to the conclusion that the world state is simply an extreme but logically developed version of our society's economic values, in which individual happiness is defined as the ability to satisfy needs, and success as a society is equated with the economic growth and prosperity. It's all about money. So the next section, the incompatibility of happiness and truth. Brave New World is full of characters who do everything they can to avoid facing the truth about their own situations. The almost universal use of the drug Soma is probably the most pervasive example of such willful self-delusion. Soma clouds the realities of the present and replaces them with happy hallucinations, and is thus a tool for promoting social stability. But even Shakespeare can be used to avoid facing truth, as John demonstrates by his insistence on viewing Lenina through the lens of Shakespeare's world, first as a Juliet and later as an impudent strumpet. According to Mustafa Mond, the world state prioritizes happiness at the expense of truth by design. He believes that people are better off with happiness than with truth. Okay, it's a manufactured state of mind to suit the state. So the state comes first. The message is the state, the good of all, stability, community. These are the motto of the state, So right now we are hearing, the new world order, the world, the global community for the good of others, for the good of the community, for the good of the whole under COVID-19. Stay home for the good of others, for the good of the whole, for the good of the community. And this is the mantra that's being repeated to us over and over again. So what are these two abstract entities that Mond juxtaposed? Okay, so I'm not gonna read too much of that. Just gonna skip to the other paragraph here, and my screen is loading. The dangers of an all-powerful state. Like George Orwell's 1984, this novel depicts a dystopia in which an all-powerful state controls the behaviors and actions of its people in order to preserve its own stability and power. So in our case right now under COVID-19, we're talking about a global power, not nationalism, not a national power, a global power, but run by a small group of the elite. But a major difference between the two is that whereas in 1984, control is maintained by constant government surveillance, secret police, and torture. I think I described all of this right here in this building. Power in Brave New World is maintained, and this is something targets go through, is maintained through technological interventions that start before birth and last until death, and that actually change what people want. So the conditioning changes what you want. The government of 1984 maintains power through force and intimidation. The government of Brave New World retains control by making its citizens so happy and superficially fulfilled that they don't care about their personal freedom. In Brave New World, the consequences of state control are a loss of dignity, morals, values, and emotions. In short, a loss of humanity. So how's that for hitting the nail on the head? So what do we have right now in our world? We have the degradation of women. We have the dehumanization of women. Russell Williams, Paul Bernardo. Um, we have nudity, upfront nudity. We have targets being looked at naked in our homes 24/7. We have targets being raped, women, kids. We have global trafficking, booming business and ever growing, and growing more so because of the advanced technologies, accessing people in their homes, remote rape, remote gang rape, mental torture, mind control techniques being used as you sleep. So morals, definitely, values. The values, we value money more than anything else. We see isolation. We see the old people dying alone. We see laws and rules being brought into place that isolates us. We can't visit family. No Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no Diwali, no Eid, no temple, no church, and no birthdays, no family gatherings. You hear people talk about family gatherings being the source of infection rates going up. So continuously repeating these messages that emphasizes that when you're with family, it's a bad thing. And when you stay away from them, then it's a good thing. And we're doing it for their good. We're doing it for the community good. We are doing it for the world's good. We are doing it for the economic good. Because if we do that, then the economy is going to open up. There's not going to be any lockdowns. If the infection rates go down, then there's not going to be any lockdowns. So again, the government of Brave New World retains control by making its citizens so happy and superficially fulfilled that they don't care about their personal freedom. In Brave New World, the consequences of state control are a loss of dignity, morals, values, and emotions. In short, a loss of humanity. Okay, so I'm gonna just stop there because there's a lot of noise going on outside the window. And do read that book.